Hello, my name is Jaime Rivera. Today I'm going to be playing Rampage. It was developed by Midway Games in 1986 as an arcade classic. Originally, it was designed by Brian Collin, who was the artistic director, and Jeff Newman, who was the programmer for the game. During that time, in 1986, they were coming out against Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and Castlevania. So it was a very game change, not no pun intended, but game changing year for the industry, and definitely had a lot of competition. Following its release was Rampage 2, Universal Tour, Rampage Through Time, Rampage Puzzle Attack, and Rampage Total Destruction. Also in the year 1986 is when they ported it to the Atari 2600 and many more consoles especially after its arcade success. The Lynx version of it actually had a giant rat character named Larry, and the NES version actually only had two monsters instead of the traditional three that we'll see here today. Also, some interesting fun facts about the game. When they decided to end it at 768 levels, it was only because the hardware couldn't control that much art, and on top of, they just didn't think that players would be able to beat that many levels. And actually, the monsters who mutate in-game are fashioned after people that Colin, who is the artist, and Jeff Newman knew themselves in their personal lives, such as their wives, family members, stuff like that. All right, so starting from the emulator screen here, got the title sequence, Rampage, iconic as ever. So from here, you have the choice of three different monsters to choose from. We'll start with George. So players get to select one of these three monsters to basically wreak havoc on the city. There's always like a little dialogue box before, which is always kind of cool. Adds some personality to each level. Um, so each round is completed when every building is basically toppled over or destroyed. You use your arrow keys. Granted, I can't really speak in terms of the actual Atari controller to kind of climb up. And something that was kind of awkward for me with this was that you have to hit a direction and the attack button at the same time to like hit where you're sitting. Um, but each building sometimes has either hidden health or different items to choose from. Um, and meanwhile, while you're doing this, there's going to be, cops, helicopters, small soldiers shooting at you. And the name of the game is to be able to topple all the buildings while also kind of maximizing on, destroying any enemies nearby so that we can get your points up. Um, a lot of unique character designs are in this game, especially for the time, but you mainly see it at the title sequence itself. Granted, not a lot of Atari stuff looked that impressive, but the player models do kind of leave something to be desired. um, Another really good thing I like about this game, though, is the destructible environments. And really early concept and something that definitely has a lot of players enthralled today. And also just how physics-based it is, where if you, well, you have like a little falling animation, which is great, but if you destroy, depending on how you destroy the buildings, it can affect how fast you can bring them down, which is kind of why I'm starting from the sides and then working my way down. Stop it, stop it. Okay. But once you topple them enough or bring down enough pieces, the whole thing will fall over, giving you a bunch of points. Another thing I like about this is that there's multiple avenues of approach with it, whether you wanted to kind of focus on taking down enemies first, whether you wanted to focus on a couple buildings. Some buildings also, I was kind of a bad idea taking down the one I just had, but, taking down taller buildings last will let you be able to access helicopters a lot faster. Munch. Yeah. Um, Also just satisfying to play, you know what I mean? Just some kind of mindless fun, not too complicated, but not too simple at the same time. It's got little glitches that you can take advantage of. Oh, dang it. I want it. I want it. Hit. But it doesn't take itself too seriously, which has kind of been an iconic staple of the whole series, even moving on to the sequels. Oh, and then I just lost all my health there, and that is kind of really unique about this game too, is that they return you back to being a human once you lose all your health. So definitely a lot of memorable moments in it. Nothing as in terms of depth in comparison to, Legend of Zelda or Metroid. Very arcadey, but that's just its roots. Um, The control scheme still kind of leaves something to be desired for. Granted, I am playing on, a on an emulator, so I can't complain too much. But and also just a larger environment variety would benefit this game greatly. But um, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your day.